Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer 55551, and I am back with a My 2 Cent video for this week, for the week of November 28th to December 4th. And for those who are celebrating Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah to you folks out there. Although Jewish myself, and I'm celebrating Hanukkah with friends and family, though. I'm looking forward to giving some of the gifts to my niece and nephews and all. Also, I got my booster shot, so great for me. I finally get the booster shot and all that stuff. But anyway, we got 4 stories to cover, including supposedly a new handheld and the possibility that Microsoft might be jumping into the handheld space to a certain degree, though. We also have a bill that's being floated around in the House, I believe in the Senate at this time, that could target bots and scalpers, though. We also learned to see who the winner of Black Friday was this year, and it was a system that I think a lot of people didn't think would be the winner and all that stuff, and a game that is basically announcing that's coming to the Nintendo Switch, a niche title to be exact, but one that I'm very pleased to see coming to the Nintendo Switch indeed, though. If you're interested in where I got the source of these information and all, links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. But before we get started, we'll do what I like to call the quick My 2 Cent stories that caught my attention to some degree, but I'm not going to go into a huge amount of details all. The first one is that supposedly we have a new game from the creators who did the Danganronpa, Danganronpa. I'm sorry if I'm not saying the name correctly, though. Basically, it's called Archive Rain Code, or Enigma Archive Rain Code, though. Not a whole lot of information at this time, though. It's unclear if it's coming to the Nintendo Switch or not, but given some of their past games have came to the Switch, I would say odds are this one probably will, though. We also learned that Fall Guy has been delayed into next year, though, so a little bit unfortunate for those who were looking forward to picking up that game for the Nintendo Switch, though. I know it was available on the PS4. It was by, Devolver Digital, to be exact, though, and I do believe that there are plans to bring it to the Xbox systems, I believe, next year as well. So, but either way, those who were looking forward to picking up that game for the Switch are probably going to have to wait until next year to pick that one up. We also learned that now the U.S. state treasurers are now looking into Activision Blizzard, including Bobby Kotick. So it's pretty much more pile on to Activision Blizzard, which unfortunately has not been a great year for them and all. We also learned that it's basically the physical version of the GTA trilogy, the definitive edition, though, has now been delayed. I believe, from what I understand, outside of the Switch version, other versions have been delayed to, I believe, December 17th, though I'm not 100% sure, but the Switch version has now been pushed back to early 2022, though. Obviously, given the whole fallout from how the game launched in what many view as a very poor state, to be exact, though, can see why all the physical versions have been delayed, though. Switch version's kind of interesting because we've been hearing reports ranging from NOA testers coming over, trying the game out, to Nintendo probably publishing the physical version, although nothing confirmed at this time. So, but either way, those who are planning to pick up the physical version are going to have to wait a little bit longer. Switch owners obviously going to have to wait even longer than those who are planning to pick it up for like the Xbox or the PlayStation and all. We also learned that Reggie Fils-Aimé is going to lead something called a blank check company that's going to be focusing on gaming and digital media. Obviously, he's been doing a lot since leaving Nintendo, though, and there's been reports that he could be appearing up at the Game Awards, so it'll be interesting to see if that happens, though. We also learned that Dot Hack Last Recode has now been confirmed for the Nintendo Switch, and it will be out in March 2022. March 2022, though. Very happy to see that Bandai Namco is bringing the game over. It's unclear at this time if this will be a digital release or a physical release, and if it is a physical release, though, it's unclear whether the whole game will be in there or it's going to be you get the game, you have to download the rest. So nothing at this moment or anything like that. So we'll have to wait and see. Past Bandai Namco games on the Switch, there have been some physical versions released, but then there has been digital versions such as the Sword Art Online games and all. And who knows, maybe this could open the door to not only revive, maybe bring more dot hack games, but maybe this can open the door to maybe Bandai Namco maybe actually putting some more games. Like, I would love to see another Tales game come to the Nintendo Switch. I mean, I would be happy if Tales of Arise were to come, but I would be open to the idea of a brand new Tales game designed specifically for the Switch, much like how we saw what Capcom did with Monster Hunter Rise, as that one was designed for the Nintendo Switch, although we know that's coming to the PC next year, to be exact. So hopefully we'll see if that ever happens, but glad to see that another JRPG is coming to the Nintendo Switch. We also learned that Sony may be preparing a version of a PlayStation subscription, but a version that's going to be similar to what Microsoft's doing with the Xbox Game Pass. Not a whole lot of details has been revealed at this time, but there has been some reports about the possibility of putting PS1, PS2, and PS3 classics in there. We don't know if it's going to be like it is going to be on Game Pass, whether you could download the game or if it's just going to be streaming. We know Microsoft has options to stream some of the games on Game Pass to fully downloading those games, to be exact. So we'll have to wait and see and hear what Sony has to say, but from what we've been told, it's going to launch sometime next year. And last but not least, in a non-gaming story though, we learned that Ghostbusters Afterlife did very well during the Thanksgiving holidays though, and it continues to do very well indeed. I'm very glad that movie is doing great at the box office. I think there are a lot of contributing factors to it. Some of it I think is positive word of mouth. Others have to do with the fact it's the budget though. I believe it's between 70 and 80 million. I've heard 75 million. Certainly lower than the 2016 Ghostbuster movies though. But at the same time, you don't have to have a big budget to do a movie to become successful. I mean, Deadpool kind of proved that in a way when that movie came out in 2016. I believe that had a budget of $50 million, and I believe it did like $130 million. I could be completely wrong on that. So it is possible for a movie to not have the budget on the level of, say, like a Marvel movie and still do very well indeed. And it's nice to see that Ghostbusters Afterlife is doing well. I hope this opens the door to a fourth Ghostbusters movie or a brand new start of the new generation of Ghostbusters, indeed. Okay, with the quick mind she sent now officially done, we'll get started with our first story, and this one has to do with 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim actually coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, I played this game back, I believe it was either 2020, I believe that was, when the game came out though, and it was definitely a fun game from Vanillaware though. It was a little bit different from, say, that some of their past games that I've played, such as Odin Sphere, Dragon Crown, Miramasa, the Demon Blade though, but it was still a fun, enjoyable, and it had the kind of art style that Vanillaware is famous for though. Interesting enough, most of their games outside of Miramasa, the Demon Blade, have basically been on just the PlayStation side of things though. Well, interesting enough, this week we learned that 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim is actually coming to the Nintendo Switch. In an article posted on Nintendo Life, it reads that, quote, Aulx has announced that it will be bringing the critically acclaimed sci-fi epic 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim to the Nintendo Switch on April 12th, 2022 here to the West. The title by Aulx and Vanillaware, Aulx and Sega to be exact, is described as a dramatic experience blending visual novels, light puzzle elements, and RTS, where the future lies in the hands of 13 young pilots and their sentinels. As a player, it's your job to unravel their stories and uncover the truth across an interlining narrative that spans across time and space, though. Now, it is worth pointing out that the game supposedly has sold over 500K copies worldwide to date. which isn't bad. Obviously, this is a niche title to be exact, so it's not really like a big title or anything like that, but still very impressive for a niche title indeed. And honestly, I'm very happy that they are bringing this to the Nintendo Switch. This was a good game when I played it on the PS4, and I'm glad that the Switch is getting this title as well. I do hope, though, that this opens the door to the possibility of other Vanillaware titles coming over. Like, I would love to see ports of, the enhanced version of Dragon Crown and Odin Sphere come to the Nintendo Switch. Hell, I would like to see a port of Muramasa the Demon Blade come to the Nintendo Switch, indeed. I think those games would fit very well for the type of console the Nintendo Switch is, though. And I do hope that this opens the door to Sega to maybe take the Switch maybe a bit more seriously, like maybe port some of the Yakusuka games, if it's possible, to come to the Nintendo Switch, indeed, and maybe other titles as well. I really think that a lot of development teams sort of missed out on the Switch or kind of underestimate the sort of popularity the Switch has gotten since its launch in 2017. But either way, I'm glad they're bringing this game over. But like I said, I do hope it opens the door for other entries to come over. Also, like anything, it's unclear at this time if there will be a physical version or whether there will be, or if this will be download only. And if there's a physical version, it's unclear whether you have to download the rest of the game, or if this is a case like it is with the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, where there was a physical version, but it's only available via Play Asia, and if you want to get that version, you have to order it from Play Asia or, import it in general, though. So no word on what their approach is at this time, though, but overall, I'm very happy to see that 13 Sentinel Aegis Rim, apologize if I'm not saying the name correctly, is coming to the Nintendo Switch. And like I said, I do hope this opens the door to seeing other Vanillaware titles come over. Like I said, I love to see Odin Sphere, Muramasa the Demon Blade, and Dragon Crown make their way to the Nintendo Switch indeed. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to part 2. And this one has to do with a surprise winner in terms of the console sales, in terms of what did well on Black Friday. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of our My 2 Cent video, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at the Xbox Series S, particularly how it performed on Black Friday. Now, I'm sure for many people, there have been a lot of people looking to find basically either a PS5 or an Xbox Series S X, so since are the popular consoles, along with to some extent the Switch OLED as well, which has also sold very well to be exact, though. Now, those systems have been pretty hard to find, to be exact, though, and that some of it has to do with the bots and the scalpers, which I'll get to part 3 on that, though. But there's also been the issue of the chip shortage situation, which has, because of the chip needed to manufacture to power these consoles, though, they've been pretty hard to at least find some of these consoles, though. But one console that sort of surprised some folks on Black Friday was the Xbox Series S. This was the smaller console that Microsoft showed off last year, along with the Series X, though. It was designed as sort of like a budget next-gen console, though. It still had a lot of the next-gen features the Series X had, but it had sort of was more focused to those who are looking for a digital only, or don't want to spend $500, to even like maybe pushing it up to like 1080p, though. It's not the graphical powerhouse up to 4K, though it is somewhat possible with 4K with the Series S. The main push is 1080p and having like 60 frames per second and so forth. So to me, I view the Series S as sort of a budget next-gen console, but I still enjoy my Series S nevertheless when I had it last year, though, and it still has been surprisingly very good, along with Game Pass in general. Well, recently, Business Insider has put out a report that seems to indicate that this year's Black Friday, Xbox Series S may have been the actual winner, though. From Business Insider, indeed, it reads that, quote, "An unlikely video game console has dominated the sales on one of the biggest shopping days of the year. the $300 Xbox Series S console from Microsoft, according to Adobe Digital Economic Index. Though Sony's PS5, Microsoft's Xbox Series X, and Nintendo Switch OLED remains in the most highly sought after consoles, chip shortage and high demand have rendered them nearly impossible to find. The Xbox Series S, on the other hand, is readily available at various retailers right now, from GameStop to Best Buy. Among the over 1 trillion visits to U.S. retail sites measured by Adobe, the Xbox Series S was among the top-selling items thus far for Black Friday's 2021. It certainly doesn't hurt that the Series S is just $300, at least $100 less than the competitors, and $200 less in some cases, and is capable of playing this holiday's biggest games such as, Forza Horizon 5, Halo Infinite, and Call of Duty Vanguard. Similar to Sony's PS5, which comes in 2 versions, the Xbox Series S is all digital console, meaning that it doesn't have a Blu-ray drive to play games. The only way to buy games digitally is through the Xbox digital storefronts, and they run off the console's hard drive. The Series S is significantly smaller than the $500 Xbox Series S, and attends as the entry-level Xbox console. Paired with Microsoft's widely popular Game Pass subscription service, the Series S is one of the least expensive options for people who want access to some of the most popular modern games, though. That the console doesn't use bleeding-edge technology has been a sales hindrance for the console in the past year among the earliest adapters to the most recent PlayStation and Xbox console generation. Now that flaw appears to be an advantage to the Black Friday shoppers. So, to me, as a Series S owner, though, it's pleased to see that this console is sold very well during Black Friday, though. Now, some people are speculating how the console will fare during the long run, though. I'm not too worried about it in the long run, though. Like I said, I view the Xbox Series S as more like a budget next-gen console does. It still does, like I said, it still does majority of the stuff that the Series X does, but it's not going to push, it's not going to push like the 4K or anything. It's more like pushing towards 1080p, which to me, though, that's fine indeed, though. But and it does make you, and it certainly is interesting to see it do very well. And it'll be interesting to see how consumers respond to it going forward, though. I mean, could we see, the Series S outsell the Series X or anything like that? There's been some reports that Phil Spencer has mentioned that before. And looking at the success of the Series S, though, it does make me kind of wonder to some degree, would it have been smart for Sony to do a version of the PS5 that was sort of similar to the Series S, where it still has a lot of the next generation components, but it doesn't push, like stuff like 4K the way the PS5, both the disc and the digital version does. I mean, it does make you kind of wonder, would it have been better for Sony to do something like that? But either way, obviously all three consoles did very well. Switch OLED, PS5, both the disc and the discless, and the Xbox Series S and X, though. But obviously, it turns out that the Series S was probably the winner in regards of Black Friday. So overall, very nice to see the Xbox Series S doing well. I think the system is going to do fine during the long run. I know some people are thinking probably won't, but I don't think it's going to go away or anything like that. And the whole Game Pass thing certainly has become very popular and all, and I think the Xbox Series S, in my view, is sort of a great idea, especially for those who are into the whole Game Pass approach indeed. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to part 3. And this one has to do with the issue in regards of bots and scalpers, and perhaps something being passed on in the U.S. Senate in regards to that issue. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 3 of my 2 cent video, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at the whole bots and scalper situation. Now, one of the most annoying things that a lot of people are facing for those who are trying to find a PS5, whether it's the disc or discless one, or the Xbox Series X, or even the Switch OLED for that matter, has been the whole bots and scalpers. We have seen cases where people have, tried to find anything online, put it on their cart, and then suddenly it disappears because someone is using that to basically buy up a whole bunch of it, to the point that basically they sell it at outrageous prices on eBay, even up to going as far as like $900 to $1,000 or even beyond. And for a lot of people, it has been very annoying though. Combined with the whole chip shortage situation, it has certainly been, for a lot of folks, been very frustrated. And I can kind of relate though. I've been having a hard time trying to find a PS5 myself though. Well, recently, it seems as though a bill is being floated around the U.S. Senate that will basically target these bots and scalpers. Will basically go after them and all that stuff, whether to either outlaw it or reduce it to the point that it's not a major issue at all. So, in an article posted by Video Game Chronicles, it reads that, quote, "The Stop Grinch Bot Act is being introduced by Representative Paul Tonico," I apologize, I'm not saying that name correctly, Senator Richard Bloomberg, and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, and Senator Ben Ray, and it's designed to crack down on bot technology. Bot works by automatically notifying users when high-value items come to stock at retailers before circulating any wait time, adding them to the cart, and then completing the checkout process, giving users a huge advantage over regular consumers. These kind of tools aren't new. Collectors of sneakers and tickets sometimes use automatic tools for identifying restock. However, gaming sharply rise in popularity during the pandemic has reportedly seen bots specifically used to target consoles. It's hoped the new bill will be signed into law, as it was the Better Online Ticket Sales Act, which was introduced by Tonko Richard Bloom with these guys in 2016 to make it illegal to use bots to buy event tickets. The new legislation, if it passed, would apply to a similar ban to online retail sites, making it illegal to use bots to buy up stock as soon as it's made available. At times when families should be able to spend time with their loved ones, digital Grinch bots are forcing Americans to score online sites in hope to finding an affordable gift or pay outrageous prices for a single toy. These bots don't just squeeze consumers, they pose a problem for small business, local retailers, and other entrepreneurs trying to ensure they have the best item in stock for their customers. Our Grinch Bot Act works to level the playing field and prevent scalpers from sucking hardworking parents dry this holiday season. I urge my colleagues to join me in passing this legislation immediately to stop these Grinch bots from stealing the holidays. Chuck Schumer adds, "The average holiday shopper is unable to compete with the light speed of the all-too-common Grinch bots and are held at ransom by scalpers and third-party resellers when trying to buy holiday presents. After a particular trying year, no parent or American should have to fork over hundreds or even thousands of dollars to buy Christmas and holiday gifts for their children and loved ones. It is utmost important that these Grinch bots are thwarted in their attempt to steal Christmas and money from hardworking Americans." Now, some might argue that this is somewhat of a waste of time, since there are more important issues to deal with, whether it's the debt, to voting rights issues, to other things in general. And to some extent, I don't completely disagree with that argument. At the same time, though, I don't disagree with this legislative bill that's trying to be passed through the U.S. Senate either. It's one thing if one person decides to wait in line, buy the product, and then wants to resell it on eBay and all. That's fine. But when it gets to the point that you're using bots and scalpers to buy multiple items of that one item at the same time, and so at that point, I think that's a bit ridiculous. And I do hope that this bill, in a way, does pass, because it's time that we do clamp down on these bots and scalpers. It's outrageous what we've seen, whether it's a toy, whether it's tickets, whether it's shoes, whether it's a game console, it doesn't matter. This should apply to every product out there to make it that to make sure the playing field is even, so that people have a chance to buy these products that they want to buy for either themselves or their loved ones. Though, I mean, I'm not against the whole idea of one per customer or anything like that. There's nothing wrong with that in any way, and there's nothing wrong if you buy one item in the store and then decide to resell it. But yeah, I think it's high time that these bots and scalpers are deal with the once and for all. Again, I understand some people may argue that there are more important legislations that the government should be focusing on, and that may be true. And I also understand that some people don't like the idea of, you know, the government getting involved in video games. We all remember back in the 90s how the whole violent video game issue and Jack Thompson and all that stuff. But this is one issue, even as a gamer myself, this is one issue I could definitely get behind. And to me, I do hope it does pass and it is signed into law, though, because it's getting ridiculous. I mean, we're a year out since those systems like the Xbox Series X and the PS5 launch, and it's utterly ridiculous that it's taking this long to get your hands on the console, though. While I understand some situation is beyond their control, such as the chip shortage situation, I think the fact that you have the bots and the scalpers are making things worse, and I really think it's time that we rein this in. So overall, though, I do support this bill. I do hope it's passed the U.S. Senate. I do hope it's signed into law, and I am hoping that it does help rein in these bots and scalpers, though. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 4, and this one has to do with a new handheld from Razer that is in development, and it might have Microsoft involved in it, though. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our 4th and final part of our My 2 Cent video. And for this one, I want to be talking about the what's apparently is in development, a new handheld called the Razer, if I'm saying the name correctly, Razer Snapdragon, though. Now, since the success of the Nintendo Switch, though, we have seen some companies have sort of, kind of, in a way, try to jump in on the same success that Nintendo has had with the Nintendo Switch since that system launched in 2017. The whole console handheld hybrid, or at least something similar to that approach. We know that right now Steam is developing something called the Steam Deck, which is the first ever supposedly portable PC gaming device where you hook up and take the games you have in your Steam library and play it on the Steam Deck, though. We know it's going to be out next year, though. It was supposed to come out this month, but got delayed, to be exact, though. It's going to be very interesting to see how that device does and everything like that, and whether or not it clicks with the consumer, specifically since I feel that a system like the Steam Deck is basically targeting, I believe, more towards those on the PC side of gaming, the PC gaming folks out there, which by all means, that's not a bad thing. If that's your audience and that's the group you're aiming for, there's nothing wrong with that, to be exact. Well, now it seems as though we have another handheld in development, and it seems as though Microsoft might be interested in jumping into this, though. In an article posted on Pure Xbox, it reads, quote, the idea of a Nintendo Switch-like Xbox handheld console isn't out of the realm of possibility. It's been reported that Microsoft has been dabbing with that kind of idea for a while, albeit just for use with Xbox Cloud Gaming. Windows Central mentioned this in a report about the new Qualcomm Snapdragon G3X Gen 1 gaming platform, which has led to Qualcomm, if I'm saying it correctly, partnering with Razer to create the Snapdragon G3X handheld development kit. Essentially, it operates like a Nintendo Switch or Steam Deck for Android gamers, and it also supports Xbox Cloud Gaming. For at least the time being, though, it's going to remain a development kit and nothing more. However, the outlet says that it's been hearing Microsoft has been tinkering with handheld prototypes for a while now, and the new Qualcomm platform might just give the Xbox team an extra push to make it a reality. According to the According to what they've been hearing, this is what they had to say. Quote, we've been hearing for a while at Windows Central that Microsoft has been dabbing with Xbox handheld prototype for some time now, although something like this Qualcomm platform may be the family of technology Microsoft needs to really give it a serious consideration. The new Snapdragon G3X Gen 1 gaming platform definitely sounds like a promising step for Xbox cloud gaming in the future regardless, citing capabilities such as true 10-bit HDR games running at up to 144 FPS, 5G connectivity, and much more. It'll be interesting to see if the Xbox team ends up taking full advantage of it with an official handheld device. Now, obviously, as of right now, like they said, there's only a development kit. Nothing official has been announced at this time, though. But it is very interesting to see what if Microsoft were to enter into the handheld space and all. Up to this point, we've seen many competitors have tried to compete against, Nintendo, which has been pretty much dominant on the handheld side of things since the day of the original Game Boy, though. I mean, Sony tried with the PSP and the Vita, though, and while those systems certainly were more powerful than, say, like when Nintendo DS and the 3DS came out, though, they weren't able to dethrone Nintendo in any shape or any form. Some of it had to do with, like, Sony really doing little to no support for those systems, indeed. So that's certainly one of the factors, to be exact, though. As for this device, though, I would say right now it's too early to tell whether or not it could pose a real competitor or real threat to the Nintendo Switch or anything like that, though. Do I have my doubts it could pose a threat, though? To some degree, yes, and this isn't just the Nintendo fan inside of me, it's just that we've seen competitors before and not a lot of them have able to take on Nintendo, though. I mean, is it possible this could work? It's a possibility, though. It does sound impressive, to be exact, but at the same time, I'm a little iffy about the cloud gaming part of it, though. Now, I'm not saying I have nothing against cloud gaming at all. I do believe the potential is certainly there for cloud gaming, but I do think there are some hurdles that have to be overcome. I mean, one example is, like, for example, though, when in 2019, when I went on my trip to Poland and Germany, though, having my Nintendo Switch, to be exact, though, I mean, outside of maybe a couple games that required an online connection, like, say, Warframe, to be exact, majority of the games that I had, I was able to play without any kind of internet connection, even when I had it on airplane mode, whether it was on the tour bus or whether it was a flight from Germany to Dallas, to be exact, though, I was able to play my Nintendo Switch and not have to worry about an internet connection. This one, still a little iffy about the idea of it, though. While the idea of accessing Game Pass isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just having an online connection, it sort of hinders and limits basically where you could go with the device, because you need to be in a place that has a solid connection, though, and not everywhere has a solid connection, and that's really the thing about that, though. Also, if Microsoft is really serious about wanting to step into the handheld race with this device, though, I really think they should add the option of being able to take, like, if I have it up here to be exact, where is it? Okay, take something like this, your micro SD card, the Seagate 1 terabytes, and we know there's 2 terabyte, though, and be able to plug that into this handheld device, so be able to play games off of that. I think that would be really great, though. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong having an option for cloud gaming, and that is sort of great, but I think having something like that to be able to put your Seagate 1 terabyte card into a device like this would really be helpful, considering the fact that not everywhere is going to have a solid internet connection, though. So overall, it's an interesting idea, to be exact, though. I'm very curious to see whether it will take off or not, but I will admit at this time it's too early to tell whether it will be a success or not, or whether it will see the light of day. And it will be interesting to see if Microsoft does sort of get involved in this, or decide to develop their own handheld, or if they decide to not do anything at all and decide to abandon the handheld concept, to be exact. Okay, this concludes this My 2 Cent video for this week, though. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about 13 Sentinel Aegis Rim coming to the Nintendo Switch? Are you pleased that that game's coming to the Nintendo Switch? Are you hopeful that this will open the door to other Vanillaware titles coming to the Nintendo Switch? What are your thoughts about the Xbox Series S doing well on Black Friday? Are you surprised that it did very well? Are you not shocked at all that it did very well? Did you pick up an Xbox Series S? Was that the system you were aiming to get, or were you trying to aim for something like a PS5 or an Xbox Series X or Switch OLED for that matter? What are your thoughts about this bill being floated around in the Senate in regards of the situation with bots and scalpers? Do you think this is long overdue? Do you support this bill? Do you think it's high time that we rein in these bots and scalpers to make it easier for people to get the stuff they want to buy online, whether it's a console or something else? And what do you thought about this Razer Snapdragon or this new handheld being in development, though? Do you view this as a Switch killer? Do you think this has potential in any way? Do you think this being a handheld that focuses on game streaming or cloud streaming, do you think this is a smart approach, or do you think this is the wrong idea for that kind of approach, though? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. Appreciate it. And I hope that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You could do it through PayPal me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!